Good morning. Welcome to day 27 of our 99 days. Almost the first month has passed by, and today I woke up with such power. I think it's a power to talk about this honoring yourself, honoring your experiences. And I actually want to talk more about empowerment, and it might come up later in this session. But first I want to talk about honoring yourself. And it's during these phases and listening to teachers I did many years, and listening to videos and listening and reading books, and you all hear different wordings, and sometimes it clicks and sometimes it doesn't click. And so it's so subtle to find the message which is right for you in that moment. And so that's why I love so much this 99 days, because I can use so many angles. There's so many opportunities to talk about the same, because I'm actually talking about the same all the time, but I'm choosing different angles. And hopefully one of these angles clicks for you. And that's all it takes. That's all that you need. One click to move on. You need one click to let go of things. You need one click to just have this feeling like, okay, now I get it. And that moment is enough to open up to the next click, open up to the next moment where you feel like, I got this again. So having created the opportunity to share with you for 99 days gives this space and freedom to talk about it in so many different ways. Because in the end, it's all love. I'm just only talking about love. But because there's so many different definitions around love, and it can be a sensitive word, and it can be a misunderstood word, or misunderstood in the sense that it has heaviness for you, or it's too far away for you. But in the end, it's all love we're talking about. Because your frequency of being, presence, is pure love. It's nothing else. It's nothing more than that, nothing less than that. There are different flavors of it. And you can call it light, and you can call it love. And I even have beautiful overviews about all these different flavors of this beingness you are. But ultimately, in life, it's as cliche as it might sound, that love heals everything. But today, it's this morning, this word of honor came into me. Honoring yourself. And it might be a word, and only when I started this video, I realized that today it's King's Day in Holland. And that's where we celebrate the birthday of our king, and in the past of our queens. And that's actually honoring them for their role for our country. And not that I ever specifically honor them in that way, but that actually what's King's Day, I think, is meant for. So it might be a nice coincidence that I'm talking about this subject of honoring on a day like this. So for those who had difficulties with the word forgiveness, honoring is actually the same process, but approaching it from a different angle. So honor yourself, honor every experience you ever had in your life. Just honor it. Be grateful for it. Even if it was a really bad experience, just honor how you dealt with it in that moment, unconsciously. Honor how you went through life, how you grew up as an innocent child. Honor that. You didn't know how life worked. You still don't know how life works, perhaps. I don't know how life works, actually. But I can honor myself for being alive and I'll get the best out of it. I'm not sure if we have more lives than this. At least we have this life. And let's enjoy this life. Let's take as much out of it as we can. So we need to honor ourselves in every cell in our body, from the sense of being so grateful for that we're here, that we are alive, that we can experience things, that we can live life. And we get to choose how we live life. But looking back at our past, it's no time for regrets. So honor your past. Honor that you were not aware. Honor that. Because if you're able to honor yourself, it's your self-worthiness is growing with that. Do you really believe you're worth living? Epic life. So honor that opportunity that you can live an epic life. Open up to it. Honoring is the same as fully embracing something, fully opening up to it. It's love without conditions. Pure honoring it. It's not like the admiration, like something is greater than you and you're small again. But it's this pure acceptance of who you are, with all the flaws, mistakes, or whatever you call it, with all the regrets you have, and with everything that ever happened to you. Honor that too. And the slight difference with forgiveness is that forgiveness is like taking the grudge, the remorse out of things, taking the edge out of things that still are lingering within yourself, that you actually, your ego is holding you onto something, like, I want to be right in this and I can't forgive the other person, or I can't forgive myself because I want to be right in this. That's the ego talking. But honoring what happened is your heart talking. It's loving yourself. Every single bit of it. Every single cell, every single piece, every step you ever took, every decision you ever made, every person you ever loved and hated later because the relationship went wrong. Just soften into that. Open up with your heart and honor it. Honor it from the aspect that you can't change it any longer. It's done. It was in the past. But can you honor yourself today? Where you are now? I mean, if you listen to me now, if you followed the last 26 days, honor that. That you've taken the time for yourself. to open up to new things, or old things, or known things, doesn't matter. You took time for yourself. Time for growth. And we need this self-worthiness to feel really empowered. Like what I shared yesterday, this empowered being, this authentic empowered being who is connected with his core essence and expresses him or herself authentically. You need a lot of self-worthiness to get into your power. Empowered being is not the being that comes from the mind. It's coming from the heart. It's not the ego that wants something for him or herself. And we take so many things for granted because we're just used to live with it. We're just used that it's all there. We're just used that we live in a safe country. We're used to, at least many of us do, live in safe countries where everything is well organized and well arranged. And we're so used to that. We hardly are grateful for it. It's just there. But if you're not grateful for things around you that are making your life so comfortable, okay, be grateful for yourself then. It's literally a mirror for you. If you can't love something outside yourself, then you can't love something inside yourself. And don't make these processes, or try not to make these processes too long and too intense. If you feel stuck there, then let it go for a while. I strongly would suggest that just let it go for a while, because otherwise your mind takes over and tries to solve it from the old way of operating. The mind wants to find the solution. But if you're stuck in a certain area, a past experience where you cannot either forgive, nor you can't honor, that doesn't help you either, nor you can love it, nor you can embrace it, just let it go. Just leave that part aside for a while. It will come back when the time is right. And then, or it might never come up in your presence again, but it's solved or dissolved while you're moving forward. I'm meaning to say, like, don't try to go through everything in your past and embrace everything and love everything and forgive everything, and just actively, like, I'm going to search for it and I'm going to fill into everything I've ever had experienced and I'm going to heal it. In my experience, that didn't help. That only got me more frustrated. Pick the things up that come up, because those are the things that are now relevant to deal with. And stay self-reflective. So notice yourself, what you're doing. Keep being aware of what's happening. Keep being aware of when you're projecting. Not to stop yourself from projecting, but just as awareness on it is enough. And try to soften into that. There's nothing wrong with thinking about things, but you so easily get the mind into it again. And that mind, that chatter mind, that mind that's it's like this ongoing chatter, that's the one that doesn't solve this. So perhaps it helps if something comes up or you feel stuck in something. Just soften into it. Honor what happened and let it go. Let it go in the sense like, I don't have to analyze what happened. I don't have to understand why I created this lack belief. I don't have to understand why I still have it. I just notice it. I open myself, I open my heart up to it. Just, even if you don't sense your heart there yet, just visualize that you open your heart. Sit with it for a little while and then move on. And there's a huge difference, and I've used the word before, contemplation, quite a few times, I think. And there's a difference between thinking about something and contemplating on something. Contemplation comes from the heart. It's just opening up to new insights without thinking of finding a solution with your mind. So you hear me saying, or you've read something, or experienced something in your daily life which doesn't feel comfortable. And then just sit with this uncomfortability. And don't analyze what happened, just open up. And listen to what thought comes up out of nowhere. What thought comes up, like, or what feeling comes up, or and don't mistake this analyzing, the mind who's analyzing things, with the persons who have a very analytic mind. That's again something different, because an analytic mind is just a way how you approach things when you approach your work, your job, or anything in life. Some people just go first in like a way of analyzing things, like, okay, I need an overview, I can see how this is linked to that, I can blah blah. They really make quick connections, and they can see little details, and they really have a quick overview of how things work. That's kind of this analytic mind that understands the details as well as the bigger picture. But that's something different than overanalyzing a past experience. Because the risk there is that you make a bigger story out of it. And the story won't really help you. It helps you a little bit to understand what happened. But it only helps you actually in just to recognize your old patterns. Not the story, but to recognize your patterns. How you approached things in life. How you approached getting into a defense mode. How that process happens for you. That's a pattern. But overanalyze that pattern. It's just a pattern. Do you like the pattern or you want to get rid of the pattern? Do you want to override it with a new pattern? Then acknowledge the old pattern and work on a new pattern. Like in next time I go into defense mode, I notice myself going into defense. Okay, my new pattern is take a deep breath. I even ask for a pause if that's needed in the conversation with the other person. And I choose to react or not to react, depending how well I am back of kind of overseeing what is happening, instead of blindly reacting and go into defense. So the blindly reacting was the old pattern, and now you just take a step back and you go to a new pattern and see if that works. So it feels like going through these phases. It feels like you're going from a high plane overview and seeing what happened to a very detailed one, where you deep into the emotion and the experience, and then you have to release it or open up to it, surrender into it. And then you look back at the overview of like, okay, what's happening in my life? How can I change patterns? How can I be worthy of myself, feel worthy of myself? So it's almost like zooming in and zooming out, zooming in and zooming out. And sometimes zooming in and going into the deeper phases, the deeper depth of your being and of your experiences might be necessary just to release big, huge, intense old pains. And then when you feel the release again, when you go up in your frequency, honor that process, because don't fall back into like, have I really solved it? Is it really now gone out of my system? Don't try to analyze whether or find proof that it has gone. You will notice whether it's gone or not. It will show up in your life. It's not gone. You don't have to find proof for that. Like, you don't have to tick the box like, okay, I've solved this issue. Now I can move on. So it's almost as like softening into the waves. And when you're stuck in a wave, then focus on something else in that moment or after that moment. And if you're really stuck, like, okay, I really can't open up to anything else, I'm just so stuck down here, then ask a question to me in the group. To yourself. To your partner. Excuse me. And moving forward towards empowerment is also a way to really show yourself where you're still stuck. Because if you open up to yourself and to things that really excite you, and you can feel the honest, pure excitement in that thing, and then the mind comes up like, well, I'm not good enough in that. That's something for someone else, not for me. So then the lack beliefs come up. And then you can work from that state, you can work on your lack beliefs instead of going from zero only back into past experiences. But I think I will either tomorrow or soon we'll focus some more on this empowered state. Today it felt more like we all need to honor things in life, to get out of this feeling of regret that comes with past experiences. Just feel this self-worthiness grow in yourself, if you haven't felt it for so long. And for some people, it has come naturally from birth on, because they just came with this frequency of self-worth, just naturally. Or because they had parents who had a lot of self-worthiness. So they weren't inflicted with unworthiness so much in life. But for many, self-worthiness is quite a big theme. And self-worthiness is really something which, like the word already said, self, or the worthiness, really comes from yourself. I mean, another person can love you, can admire you, can be extremely fond about you and proud of you, but that's not the same as feeling worthiness for yourself. No one else can give you that feeling but you. To me, it's almost a stronger word than self-love. Because self-love is often such a container It's like a word with a lot of meaning to it, and in that same way, it's also almost too generic. But when I sense into worthiness of myself, I can just sense this within me. Yes, I am worthy of this life. I am worthy to have a good life. I'm worthy for love. I'm worthy of love, I think it is. I'm worthy of being liked. I'm worthy of being successful. I'm worthy of being fun to be with. I'm worthy of a very respectful and balanced relationship. I'm even worthy of just anything I desire. If the desire doesn't come from ego, but coming from your heart, like a pure heart desire, of course I'm worthy of that. And this self-worthiness, this worthiness of self just gives such a strength. It's such a empowered feeling. And from that feeling, it's so more easy to open up to vulnerability. Because when I know I'm worthy of something, then I'm so less attached to the outcome in itself or what another person thinks of me. It's honoring myself, not at the cost of others, but honoring myself to share myself with others in a pure, authentic way, in an honest way. Not because I feel better than you or greater than you or more enlightened than you or more awake or whatever, or more successful. No, because when I honor myself, I so desire for you to honor yourself. I think that's what the excitement was this morning. I felt like, oh, let's just honor ourselves. Let's grow this worthiness of self. Okay, I'm gonna leave you with this. I'm gonna celebrate King's Day today here in Holland. And hopefully the weather gets a little bit better. It was very rainy this morning. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Not sure I've already set a timing, but otherwise I'll make a new schedule today. Okay, have a nice day. See you tomorrow.